So the Indiana Fever need a lot. They need an awful lot. They need, obviously, the most important thing is a new coach. But when you have one of the owners who has effectively come out and said in the past that the Fever are just a write-off for him, I don't see him firing Christy Sides. Lynn Dunn likes Christy Sides, and Lynn Dunn is liking tweets recently enough about how coaches need to, be given time, and this incompetent, bad high school level coach is going to be there for a long time. And look, I'm personally of the opinion, for the greater good, trade Caitlin Clark and just trade Aliyah Boston. For the greater good. Just, you know what? If you're the owner of the Fever, if you're the owner of the Pacers, you're the longest tenured owner in the NBA. You don't want to be known as the man who ruined the women's basketball. You don't want to be known as that man. And I'm telling you, Caitlin Clark is not the MVP. She's not he's not the best of the best. But put her on literally any other team, and she is averaging 18, 8 assists, 5 boards on 40% shooting and 35% from 3. Which again is top level guard play. She, playing for anything other than this incompetent franchise, she'd be better. But at the end of the day, she's there for another 3 more years, which is crazy. But we're going to be talking about a player that they definitely should get. And there's only one reason why they shouldn't give this player a max. Because, look, no max contract players are going to go to Indiana. If you're looking at players that, really would suit playing for Caitlin Clark, you want, a real vet. You want a real vet, former MVP level players. You'd love to pair her with a Nneka Onwumike, who would never go there. But, you want a real vet to be there. But obviously, there's not going to be any real vets. Honestly, realistically, if it wasn't likely that Taurasi had something against Caitlin Clark, I would say just give 43-year-old Taurasi a year contract. I know, obviously, I think she's been with the Mercury her entire career, but just try see if for the last year of her career she can mentor the next Taurasi. Because as far as attitude-wise, in fairness, there's a lot of similarities between Diana and Caitlin Clark. But one player that she came up against 3 times this year, and this is the best, one of the best players I've seen as far as just defense, energy, pushing the pace. A player that would suit Caitlin Clark's game down to the T and be a lockdown defender, which the team does not have. And it's DiJonai Carrington. She's been the best Caitlin Clark defender in the league. Is she been allowed a couple of times to foul her? Sure. But, she is not. She's very, very... she's getting Caitlin Clark in one-on-ones. She's the player... Lainey Hamilton has done a really good job of, kind of roughing up Caitlin Clark in, a basketball way, just physically outmanning her. Whereas DiJonai Carrington just takes the ball off her. She's the best perimeter defender I've seen. Ariel Atkins on her wasn't doing the same thing. And, Ariel Atkins is one of the best defenders in the last... ever in the WNBA. There are a lot of really good defenders, none of them like Carrington. And the big thing is that, surprisingly enough, unlike the NBA where you're looking at, say, okay, yeah, X player suits with X team, there are some times, and in this case, in this situation is the case, where it's DiJonai Carrington and Alyssa Smith are ex-partners. So that's where you're okay, maybe, maybe it's not going to work out. But then, at the end of the game, they were taking pictures. As well as that, they basically, Alyssa Smith stepped in front of Erica Wheeler and Carrington, basically making sure her teammate didn't go at Carrington the last time they played. So it's a really, really weird situation there. And who knows? Who knows, if there's no, bad blood there? If there's no bad blood, she's the perfect player. And I mean the perfect player to pair with Caitlin Clark and this team. And, look, nobody wants to go to Indiana. Who knows? Maybe Alyssa Smith wants to, and DiJonai Carrington want to want to end up on the same team. Maybe they would want to be on the same team again. So, yeah, they could, that could be something that they look at. But when you're looking at this team, that is the type of player they need. Like, they're going to end up getting off Kelsey Mitchell, and they're going to end up getting off Erica Wheeler, which is effectively like 2 max contracts worth of players. Like, if they go and keep Julian Newman Jr. on the worst contract in the entire league, if they go and keep the 2 of them, just because Christy Sides is mates with Erica Wheeler from when they were in Atlanta, and Erica Wheeler 5 years ago was an all-star, and Alyssa Smith, yeah, she was an all-star 2 years ago. Just get rid of her. Get rid of her. I'm sick of watching GOIs play every night. Yeah. If you get rid of the 2 of them, and you don't need that secondary score like around, you just need a cutter. Like, if you can get Carrington, and like Temi comes back and plays. It's like Temi was fantastic for a really good London Lions team with like with Gustafson. I think they had Carly Samuelson as well, not Katie Lou. And heck, even getting someone like trying to get a Gustafson, I know, not sure if she's a free agent, but trying to get like a Gustafson type player off the bench, just like a solid bench player who'll be able to catch the passes and play with high IQ. And you can keep like a Celeste Taylor around because she runs. And I really do think that that's the way the team should go. They're just not going to, are they? Like last year, they're being aggressive in free agency was getting Katie Lou Samuelson. It was getting Katie Lou and getting rid of Vivians. Vivians would be the best defender on their team right now. She would be the best defender on this team right now. At this stage, I'd be happy if they signed Tamika Catchings out of retirement. At this stage, that looks like a pretty damn good pickup. But like, even if you're going and you're trying to go into like the Euro Cup or Euro League, players that are excelling in those leagues, if you've got Temi there, bringing in a Holly Winterburn wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to try doing next season over the summer. Like, considering how successful Temi's been from England, obviously you've got Holly Winterburn, who is arguably the best player on that London Lions team. Bringing in a player like that might help. But you just need to surround her with runners and defenders. Like, that is the team, that is the like type of player that you need if you are the Fever. And the fact that Carrington's going to be available, they're going to have to offer Carrington literally as much money as they can give her. Because I don't think that the Connecticut Sun have enough in the salary cap to do that. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I'd be pretty sure that they're paying Dewana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and at least one more, nearly the full max. At the same time, if you go and put Carrington beside Clark, imagine replacing that useless Christy Wallace with DiJonai Carrington. Imagine how much that helps the team. The team has a defender. They have somebody that's going to like be able to guard someone on the other team. Someone that's going to run the floor with speed. She's going to bring up the intensity of the team and be a perfect player around Clark. Because look, Caitlin Clark is a flawed basketball player, but she's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. Just like, for example, a Luka Doncic is an incredibly flawed basketball player. Like, you can't look at players at what they don't do well a lot of the time. Obviously, if in 5 years' time she still can't shoot a mid-range shot, then it's a problem. But a lot of the time, when you have superstars, and I mean future greats, you look at what they do well and try to build around that. She's not a great on-ball defender, but she's a really good off-ball defender. She runs the floor well. She creates a tempo and pace that not a lot of teams are able to deal with. And if you put a Carrington beside her, man, I'm telling you, this team might actually win close to 50% of their games next year.